Dr. Phil is back with all new shows recorded before the stay-at-home order. Today, she met a stranger in a hotel room
to exchange $9,000 in cash for a suitcase
filled with diamonds and gold from her online lover.
But instead, he brought me white cash.
So these are $100 bills that have been treated in some way, right?
Yes, you have to put a solution to taking $100 bills.
Was she scammed?
You take this and dunk it in there.
Again?
Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Well, yesterday I sat down with Lois, her daughter Candace, and younger sister Luann to discuss Lois's online relationships, which Candace and Luann claim are all scams. Now, Lois admits she hasn't had much luck with online love, but is currently engaged to a good and honest man, Paul Shaw, and even saved the life of her former fiancé, Fred Adler. Here's what's happened so far.
My mom has become addicted to online romance scams. One of my mom's first loves was a general who was serving in Afghanistan. Apparently, the Afghanistan government rewarded him with a suitcase.
This luggage was full of diamond and gold.
Yes, I paid approximately $70,000 to get his luggage. I am still trying to get the luggage.
I knew this was a total scam, and I wanted to prove it to my mom. What I did was create a fake profile, and I started to catfish the general. He's told my mother and I some of the exact same stories.
This is interesting that the picture is the same. Did you show this to her?
When I called her the next day, she was like, I don't know. Maybe he's real, maybe he's not. Then there was a gentleman by the name of Fred Adler.
Lois started taking payday loans so she could help Fred get out of Africa.
About 5 months ago, I met Fred Adler. My nickname was Strawberry. Sorry. And I named him Chocolate. He was counting on me to get him to the airport, and he missed his flight.
You're in the United States. He's in Africa.
Right.
And he's counting on you to get him to the airport. Who's going to button up his shirt?
My sister has nothing to her name but a card table and a mattress.
Candace, you say that she's lost $100,000.
Yes, maybe even more.
Now, Lois admits that she has gone bankrupt from her online relationships, but is currently engaged, thankfully, to a good, honest man.
About 2 weeks ago, I met a wonderful man named Paul Shaw.
And he's supposedly from where?
He lives in Alaska. He has a 32-bedroom home mansion, 18 baths.
Paul is currently in Nigeria taking care of his uncle's estate. His settlement right now, it was over $2.5 million. Paul and I are engaged.
So you've been engaged 3 times. June of 18, you meet the general. 3 days later, you're engaged. And then you meet Fred Adler. 3 days later, you're engaged. Then, 6 weeks later, he disappears. On the next day, you just switch to Morris, okay?
I thought Fred was deceased, actually.
Well, you mourned him for what, 12 hours?
No.
5 days later, you're engaged to Paul. Does it cause you concern that you keep getting in relationships that ask for money and never show up?
No, I really,
come on.
honestly, I think I got hope with Paul.
And you've yet to meet a single person. Lois' daughter Candace says last year her mom met a stranger in a hotel room and gave him $9,000 in exchange for a suitcase. Met a stranger in a hotel room. Lois says she keeps the contents she was given in a home safe under lock and key. Now, in order to conduct a thorough investigation, one of my producers asked Lois to ship us her safe so we could find out what is really inside. Take a look.
I've been working with a guest named Lois, and 10 months ago, she received what she says are stacks of money from her online lover. She was so nervous about its value that she kept it in a safe, and since Lois wanted to present all of the evidence to Dr. Phil, we decided to help her ship her safe to Los Angeles.
This is a box with my safe. We're sending this to Dr. Phil. That has the address on there. Signed right here. All right, I guess we're good to go.
We arranged to ship it from her home state to LA on the next flight out. Once it arrived, I personally carried it to the executive producer's office and locked it for extra security. Today, we will find out what her online boyfriend gave her and if this is a new way to catfish somebody.
Lois says last year she met up with Jeffrey Daniels, an associate of her former fiance, the general, to exchange $9,000 in cash for a suitcase that he had sent over from Afghanistan. Instead, Jeffrey Daniels presented stacks of white money that needed a special solvent before they could be used. Now, this is money that's been treated so it's camouflaged, right? It doesn't look like money.
It was in the rebel hideouts over there in Afghanistan. Yeah, they confiscated it.
Who confiscated it? The general?
The general, yes.
Okay, and he sent it to you.
I didn't know that was what's supposed to be in the luggage when I met Jeffrey Daniels.
What did you think was in it?
I was thinking cash, and I knew there was gold and silver and some jewelry there in my wedding ring.
Okay, you thought that was what was coming?
Yes.
And why the $9,000?
The $9,000 was supposed to pay for the storage fee and tax to receive the luggage at the time when I met him.
The storage fee?
Yes, and apparently I haven't
was
ever received the luggage. Apparently it's still in St. Louis.
What did he bring you? Did he bring you luggage?
No, it first arrived in Oklahoma City.
What did he bring you?
Airport.
To the hotel room? He brought you a suitcase,
The
didn't he?
white cash that didn't fit inside the luggage.
Got one piece of luggage.
He brought you a suitcase.
No, I didn't receive a suitcase.
What did he carry it in?
He had it just sitting there in plastic wrap.
It was already there when you got there.
Right.
He was there and had it set up.
Yes,
Okay. And well, let's take a look at it. I'm going to have him bring it out here because you've guarded it very carefully. We've kept this locked up in the producer's office. And later, $80,000 of U.S. currency weighs 1.75. Your stack that is supposedly $80,000 weighs 1.45. How could that be?
Her online scammer, the general, had promised to send her the suitcase of gold, diamonds, and cash.
I met a man named Jeffrey Daniels. Jeffrey was supposed to bring me the luggage, but instead he brought me white cash. In order to use it, I had to put a solvent on it to make it usable cash.
What my sister got was a suitcase of counterfeit money.
It does look like 2 pieces of white paper. This is how the rebels hide their money in their hideouts. This cash is real $100 bills, because when I was at the motel, Jeffrey Daniels washed 3 bills for me.
My sister thinks is real. She did spend a couple of the bills at local convenience stores.
She could have been murdered. She has no idea the danger she has put herself in.
Lois was nervous to travel with the white money, which she says totaled approximately $136,500 when she counted it. It was supposed to be more, right?
I thought it was, but I didn't realize it was that less, but yes.
Okay. You thought it was more, but it turned out when you counted it was $136,500.
Right.
You thought it was like 180 something.
Yes, I thought it originally, yes, I thought it was.
Yeah, okay. So we sent a courier service to transport it in the safe that she kept it in to ensure that it arrived safely. Okay, now come down here with me. Lois mailed a key in a Ziploc bag, and this is the key, right?
Yes.
That looks like the key. And that's to this safe.
Yes.
And in this safe, if everything has gone well, is the money that you received in the hotel room that day.
You're right.
Right? Okay, so, and we've kept this locked up in the producer's office. Okay. Now, inside, I see what you're talking about, are 2 bundles of white money here. So these are $100 bills that have been locked in here, and they've been treated in some way, right?
Yes, you have to put a solution to take them $100 bills.
Right. And this is what was used to wash the $300 bills that he used for the demonstration. Okay, so this is made in France. It's extremely expensive. It's $6,500. Now, this is what Jeffrey Daniels explained to you, right?
Yes.
And Lois says Jeffrey Daniels said he could buy it for her, but she needed to pay him first. Well, our team did some research and located the solution, which has been placed inside of this bucket. And so Lois is now going to walk us through what Jeffrey Daniels explained to her. So what exactly did he say and what did he do?
He put it in the water and he washed it, and then they dried it with a blow dryer.
Yeah. You know, this is the money. And so that's a $100 bill and it's under this coating, right?
Okay. Yes, it should be.
And so when you, this very expensive solution, you take this and dunk it in there and the white comes off and you have a $100 bill.
Right.
Okay. Shall we?
Yes, if you think it will happen, it should.
Well, no, you tell me.
Yes.
You've seen it happen, right?
Yes, I have. But like I say, I see it soaked in the solution first before you put it in the water.
Well, okay, you tell me how you want to do this.
That's fine.
If
If it works that way, that's fine.
No, because I want to do it the way you say that it needs to be done.
That looks like a real $100 bill there.
Yeah. Well. And later, we actually brought in an expert in fraud detection.
This is called a black money scam. Did he use a dryer on it?
Yes, afterward.
We've done exactly what is done in France to do it. This is exactly what they do in France.
All right, you know, I don't know.
I do know.
Okay, yes.
This is exactly it.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
But I'm not moving forward with this until you tell me that this is exactly what you've been explained.
Yeah, I've been explaining you wash it in water, yes.
I mean,
yes.
that's not water, that's a solution.
Okay, it's different than what I seen at the motel.
What did you see at the motel?
Just white water and then the solution looked like iodine. He soaked it and then he put it in the white water.
Mm-hmm. Well, so we can't replicate it then, is what you're saying.
Well, I don't know. If it comes out to be right, it'd be all right. I mean, there's nothing, I don't know what to tell you. That looks like a real $100 bill there.
Yeah. Well. It's coming apart. Came apart pretty easy, didn't it?
Yeah, that did, yes.
Yeah. Well,
When it,
here's a real $100 bill.
right. But that wasn't the
Let's
the
put it
bill
in
that-
there.
Okay.
See if it comes apart.
No, actually the solution was purple before you put it in the water.
Yeah. Well, this just comes apart in your hands after soaking it, and this doesn't come apart at all.
Okay, the bills he made 3 bills. They're at the motel, and they actually came out to be $100 bills.
Does it bother you that this just comes apart and this doesn't? Does it suggest that maybe that's a different paper?
Well, I think the solution is
Yeah.
I don't know. It isn't iodine. I know that.
That's what goes in there. If you want to put it in here first.
Yeah, you soak it completely.
Yeah, well, we'll just do half of it. Okay? Because we should be able to see Ben.
I don't know if it's.
Okay?
The stuff he had, I don't think it turned into a $100 bill instantly. It's just, might not be the right solution.
You know, I'm wondering about the paper. So apparently I owe you $200. I'm good for it. But let's do another test. I have a flashlight here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That needs.
That's shining through your $100 bill.
Right. But it needs to be in a dark room.
Okay, get real dark. That's the $100 bill. That's the.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I just know that this, what he has.
Okay. Well, let's try something else. This is a scale, and this is $80,000 of your money. Get the plastic off of it. I didn't take any off of this stack. I took it off this other stack. So that's $80,000. And what's the weight? That's 1.45, okay? So that's 1.45. And I have here $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80,000 of United States currency.
Right. Actually, it looked just like that when it
Yeah.
was done with.
And what's the weight of that?
Motel.
What's the weight of that? You see it up on the monitor there?
1.75.
So $80,000 of U.S. currency weighs 1.75. $80,000 of your white money weighs 1.45. It should weigh more because it's coated with a substance. It doesn't weigh as much as U.S. currency because the paper is not real paper that they print money on.
I don't know. I personally seen it washed at the motel, and I had 3 bills washed, and it was
No,
the real
you-
$100 bills.
you-
I spent the $100 bills myself.
Yeah, you saw 3 hundreds that were coated in white powder, and they washed it off and showed you those 300 and told you the rest of them were just like that.
Actually,
rest of them were paper.
Actually, they were coated in a substance that looks like iodine. And then he put it in the water and washed it, and you drove dry it.
And this
blow
is the
dried it.
money right here. This is what they gave you.
Yes, that's what
Why
he
does
did.
it not weigh as much as $80,000?
I don't know. I have no idea. You could talk to Dr. Frank that brought that over there. I have no idea. He has.
Well, I'm asking you. This is physics.
Right.
$80,000 weighs 1.75. Your stack that is supposedly $80,000 weighs 1.45.
Right.
How could that be?
I don't know. All I know is I actually seen the real thing.
You
in
saw
front of
3
my eyes.
bills.
3 bills washed. Yeah,
You didn't see them
exactly.
all. You saw 3.
Right. That's what he had. He had just a little bit of solution on him that
Is
day.
it possible that they took 3 real $100 bills and coated them in white, washed those off, and told you the rest of them were just
No,
like that?
I actually seen the white. I was standing there, and when he did it, I actually seen the white bills go into the water.
3 of
that's
them?
Coated. Yes. Yes.
You saw
I did
3
see-
of them?
Yes, I did.
You didn't see the rest of them. They showed you 3.
No, I didn't see. That's all he did was 3. Yeah, because he didn't have very much solution on him that day.
Do you notice it's not even the same size as a $100 bill? You do know. You're looking at it.
Yeah, I see. But
Don't tell me you don't know. You have eyes. You're looking at it. It's not the same size. Well, we actually brought in an expert in fraud detection who spent 22 years in the Secret Service. His name is Ron Williams. He also spent 2 years running the West African Task Force, where they investigated financial fraud overseas. Now, Ron, you're familiar with these scams, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us what you think's going on here and how this works.
This is called a black money scam. In this instance, she met a guy named Jeffrey Daniels. I would assume he spoke with an accent.
he was from a foreign country, yes.
They have genuine $100 bills that they put glue on. It's Elmer's glue, and then they treat it with iodine. Then they get the victim to see this bill, and it's black. It's dark. In this case, he coated it probably with flour and glue.
No, he didn't coat them. He put a white, he would have like a white powder in the water. And no, he didn't.
The bill, though,
He coated it, looked like iodine, but it wasn't iodine. It was some solution you get over.
but the bill was
France.
coated before. He showed you a coated bill. Then he washes it, and usually it's with vitamin C and water. That's the combination. That's the, quote, solution that costs so much. So he takes that, washes it, and it's actually a $100 bill to convince you that the other stack is also $100 bills that are coated with white. Did he use a dryer on it?
Yes, afterward. He
Okay.
took one from the stack here, 3 of them from the stack.
He used sleight of hand. He already knew which ones he was going to select. They were actually $100 bills. Then he tells you those others are also, that are coated, are $100 bills. They're not. That's white paper. That's all that is. He got lazy. This
Does that feel
scammer
like a
got
$100
lazy.
Does that feel like a $100 bill?
No, that's paper. That is totally
Actually, it looks-
your genuine money is made in Crane Paper Mill in Dalton, Massachusetts. It's 75% cotton, 25% linen. It's almost like a cloth.
Yeah.
This is just paper.
Actually, the bill when it was washed looked just like this right here.
Do you notice it's not even the same size as a $100 bill?
I don't know.
You do know. You're looking at it.
Yeah, I see. But
Don't tell me you don't know. You have eyes. You're looking at it. It's not the same size as a $100 bill.
okay.
Is all our money the same size?
I don't know unless it's.
All your all your genuine currency is the same size. Same size.
Yeah. And would this be a red flag?
That would be a real red flag, yes.
All right. I don't know what to tell you. I just maybe talk to someone that brought that over here. Maybe you need to talk to Dr. Frank.
Here's a photo of Dr. Frank Bills. He's an associate of the general. And so we checked into Dr. Frank Bills, which I thought was kind of ironic that his name is Bills.
And Frank is in Benjamin Franklin.
It's Dr. Frank Bills. He has a cell phone that's linked to a smartphone app called Text Now, which is a free service. The app allows users to access the internet for texting and voice calls worldwide. that photo has been jacked and used, and it shows up on many, many different websites. So we started looking for Frank bills. And here's a summary of what we found about this associate, because he's supposedly a United Nations diplomatic delivery service, right?
Right. He brought it from over here, from Afghanistan.
Well, but he works for the United Nations diplomatic delivery service. That's what he said.
Oh, really? I have no idea. I just know he was the one that brought the luggage over here, so
Yeah.
he said.
And his representation was that he worked for the United Nations diplomatic service. However, that doesn't exist. There's no such thing as United Nations diplomatic service. He had a registration number for all of this luggage and stuff that he was moving. That registration number does not exist. The general spells Dr. Frank's last name, B-I-L-L-S. Dr. Frank Bills spells it with one L. So one of them doesn't know how to spell his name.
Oh, really?
And Dr. Frank Bills, we looked to see if he was on the American Board of Medical Specialties, if he, in fact, was a doctor. And there is no Dr. Frank Bills with one L or two L's anywhere on any medical registry anywhere in the country.
He's not a U.S. citizen. He's from Amsterdam.
But he's living here.
Yes, he's here in New York.
Yeah. Well, he's not a doctor.
Okay.
Lois says she's torn between two lovers, Fred Adler and Paul Shaw, but her daughter Candace and her sister Luann say there's nothing to decide, and they want me to help Lois get out of this love triangle. We're going to see what really is in this box when we come back.
He fell asleep at the airport, and he missed his flight.
The man is not being honest about missing his flight back to the United States because he's already here.
I feel like I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. I met a guy online a few months ago named Fred. Last time I spoke, he was in New York City. All of a sudden, he vanished, and I thought he died. About a week ago, he texted me. Fred and I were in love. If we had stayed in contact, we would still be together. I told Fred about Paul. I have committed to Paul. Paul would provide me a very good living and a very good life. The problem is I have romantic feelings for Fred. I feel like Dr. Phil can clarify to me that Paul would probably be the better choice.
Well, Lois says she has had to mourn the death of her former fiance, Fred Adler, not once, but 2 times, only to find out that, fortunately, that in fact he was alive. Well, Lois says Fred recently resurfaced for the 2nd time, and she had already found a new man, her now fiance, Paul Shaw. Lois says despite having moved on to Paul, she still has feelings for Fred. Here's what you know about Fred. Date of birth, you're unsure when he was born, but he grew up in Berlin, Germany, right?
He was from Germany, yes.
Right, and he attended school in the United Arab Emirate. He's age 56. You don't know his birthday, but you know he's 56 years old. Occupation, self-employed contractor. Has a house in Albert, Oklahoma.
Right.
Currently working in Africa near the semi-border. Son Jimmy Adler is 21. Jimmy attends the University of Queensland in Australia. Jimmy's studying to become a surgeon, right?
Right.
And he's married to Barbara. He was married to Barbara for 20 years, but she passed away 10 years ago from cancer.
Right.
And you met Fred online, a dating site, and you're talking via Hangouts and email daily. And he was stuck in New York City, and he couldn't find a Bank of America, which you needed to get some money to him so he could do what he needed to do,
No,
right?
I didn't send money to him when he's in New York because I figured he could get to the Bank of America on his own.
But he couldn't find a Bank of America, right? Is what he said.
I guess he never did go to Bank of America because he went back over there.
He was hospitalized in New York for dehydration.
Yes,
Right.
and in Africa several times.
And he
twice.
wants to get married and says he'll just kill himself without you.
Well, he told me that on the phone.
Well, he's had a lot of excuses. You have to admit, it's been frustrating for you. On September 19th, his bank card expired, so he couldn't come. And on September 19th, he misses a flight. September 19th, his son buys his ticket in incorrect currency, right? October 19, he falls while boarding the airplane. He is actually at the airport and falls while boarding and has to leave the airport and go to the hospital.
He got dehydrated, yes, because his bank card was expired. When he got there, his bank card was expired.
Yeah. And then when he got to the hospital, they held his passport.
Yes, they did.
So now he's stuck because he can't move without his passport.
No, he came back to New York, and he's supposed to see me, and he fell asleep at the airport, and he missed his flight to Oklahoma.
Yeah, a very expensive flight.
Yes, it was, I'm sure.
Yeah, October 20th, 2019, dehydration, he goes to the hospital and then just disappears, goes off the radar. October 30th, he reappears. November 19th, he flies to New York and he falls asleep and misses his connection. November 19, he's stuck in New York, he's looking for the Bank of America and can't find one. November 19, he has no money for food and he's hospitalized. November 28th, 19, he disappears again. January of this year, he reappears. He didn't really disappear, he just didn't have phone service. Then January 27th, he missed his flight again. He misses a lot of flights.
Because he was, I guess he was depending on me getting his money to him for a taxi. And I didn't send it, so, and I don't know. It shouldn't depend on me.
So
I felt bad about it, but it happened.
you felt bad about it. He's missed like 4 or 5 flights.
He practically dehydrated.
But
on
he
Monday.
needs more money each time.
I had paid for just one flight. That was the.
He needed money for a taxi to get
Right.
to the airport.
It's just more money each time, and he's for something, either taxes or hospital or taxi or whatever. Lois told my staff that 2 days ago, Fred Adler missed his flight from Africa back to the U.S. because she didn't send him $200 for a taxi. Well, we did research, and the man in Fred's photo that Lois claims is a good and honest man is not being honest about missing his flight back to the United States because he's already here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. We found the man. This is not Fred. Do you believe that you're being scammed? One thing Lois and her daughter Candace disagree on is the origin of Fred's accent. Lois says Fred was born in Germany, and Candace claims he's lying. Well, they're both wrong. Because joining us from North Carolina is the man in those photos. And his name is not Fred, his real name is Mark. We believe he is a victim as his pictures are being used online without his knowledge and consent. So this is the man whose picture you've been looking at. This is Fred to you. In fact, his name is Mark and he lives in North Carolina. Mark, how are you?
Doing great, doing just fine.
Well, thank you so much for being willing to join us here. I'm talking to Lois. She thinks she's been talking to you. Have you been talking to her?
I'm sorry to say it's not me.
Someone has stolen your picture.
Yes, sir.
That's the guy you've been talking to that you think is Fred.
Somebody in Nigeria stole his picture and used it to face you, and we found the real man in the picture. This is him.
Really? It's Fred.
Mark, have you ever been to Oklahoma?
No, sir. I've flown over a couple of times, I think.
Yeah. Have you been to Africa?
No, sir.
Yes.
Have you been dehydrated in New York and couldn't find one out of 1,100 Bank of Americas?
No, I haven't.
That's interesting.
Sorry.
Do you believe that you're being scammed?
Maybe with Fred, with Paul, I feel like he's.
Well, let's just talk about Fred right now.
Okay.
We found the man.
Okay.
This is not Fred. This is Mark. He's never talked to you, never been to Africa, didn't get lost in New York, doesn't miss flights. That's him. That's his picture. They took it. He took it off of Instagram.
Oh, really?
Do you get that you are being scammed by someone that's using the name of Fred and the picture of Mark?
Right. Probably the same person. Was acting like Morris Davis, probably. Wouldn't be surprised.
But let's just talk about Fred. Do you get there's no Fred?
Right, I understand. I'm sorry.
Can we cross Fred off the list?
Yes.
Let me say very clearly, in case somebody's walking past the TV and looking at Mark's picture here, Mark is a victim of identity theft. He is in no way a part of this at all, other than being a victim, and he has come forward to clear this up so people don't get victimized. And you should be flattered that people steal your picture because it's obviously very attractive and people respond to it. But I want to be very clear, Mark is in no way involved in this other than as a victim. And Mark, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about this.
Very welcome.
Thank you so much. Now, while Fred Adler didn't turn out to be good and honest, Lois said, I get that and I admit that now, but she's currently engaged to a good man, Paul Shaw. And she wants her family's support. In fact, she wants my help getting Paul here so she can prove that he's really who he claims to be and she can have that relationship. We'll be right back. Well, once again, we're out of time for today. Believe it or not, there's still more to uncover here for Lois, so we need a third episode. If you've been a fan of my platform, you know this rarely happens, and I can guarantee you do not want to miss this. Now, Lois asked me to find Paul Shaw and bring him here. Well, we found this man, the man in this photo of Paul Shaw. So what happens when Lois meets him face to face? Well, tune in tomorrow for the 3-part conclusion and you will find out.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. Lois says she's happily engaged to her online lover, Paul.
And you guys met on an online dating site, but he's stuck in Africa, right? And he's expecting his uncle's $2 million inheritance.
It's a catfish investigation.
I sent one of our investigators to Nigeria. We tracked him down. Your Paul, that man in that picture. Come on out.
That's tomorrow.
I'd like to thank all of my guests today. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. Don't forget to check me out on any one of my social media outlets, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I saw this the other day. Becca tweeted me to say, am I in a relationship? No. Am I listening to Dr. Phil's Relationship Reality Check series on his podcast? Yes, I am. It's research for the future. So apparently she's looking for something. So thanks for listening, Becca. Lois certainly got a relationship reality check today. I'll save you some research for your future. If someone offers to mail you a suitcase full of diamonds and gold, please remember this episode. If something seems to be too good to be true, it ain't true. That's all for today. We'll see you next time.
1,000 times. Memories can kill ya, but it didn't hear ya. I thought that I could fly, but woke up on the asphalt. I swear there was the last time. I've always been naive. Call it